ridiculously busy, to say the least. Usually it's meetings on Sunday evening, followed by class Monday morning, by weights, by class again, and then basically a repeat. Tuesdays and Thursdays are a little more busy because we have more meetings those days for student body president issues, and of course it allows me to see the university and see campus and even the city of Chapel Hill from a 30,000-foot view and see how all those pieces interact with one another. But it is quite a busy week.
We're also working on bringing the artist for the Unsung Founders Memorial to campus to talk about how he perceives this piece and what
it was a good meeting. We had everyone together really talking about all their policy updates from all over campus, from academic affairs to community progress and updates there. Just a lot of really cool initiatives going on and everyone getting on the same page. And my role in there is to just provide overarching insight that individuals may be able to connect the dots on issues that they may not have previously seen just based on my meetings with administrators, the chancellor, so forth and so on.
Weight training is really different from a lot of other sports because it's so individualized, especially with throwing the javelin. There's a lot of range of motion exercises. I think we went through a few of them today to really make sure that I'm developing strength, but strength through a full range of motion. It's kind of nice to get in there and get a little one-on-one with actually one-on-two. There were two strength coaches that were really working with me today, which is always nice. I've come to realize this, especially over the last couple of years, is that competition drives me, but it doesn't define me. And I think that's something that's really, really cool in that it keeps me going, it keeps me motivated, and understanding that I always want to do better and push, but understanding that if I don't succeed, it's not the end of the world, and that there's definitely other things that I put my identity in that keep me moving also.
I went from being perfectly healthy and happy one day to literally a week later not knowing if I was going to live or die. And that was something that was really, really scary to me. It really made me appreciate life and appreciate the opportunity for second chances. And I think without that, I would be a profoundly different person right now. I guess when I was 12, I woke up with basically a sinus infection. So turns out about 3 weeks later, I'm laying in an MRI machine and I get out and there's a tumor that's about the size of a baseball in my head. To that point, I was having migraines basically twice a day, every day. I couldn't smell, I couldn't taste, I couldn't really see out of my right eye, I couldn't really hear out of my right ear. I mean, it was terrible. We basically scheduled surgery for that October, and from, I'd say it was that August until October, the tumor had grown from the size of a baseball to larger than a softball. And it was about 18 hours worth of surgery over 2 days, and took it out. And it was a really long recovery process, but made it through, and now we're here. But there are times where it is reminders of just, hey, you're here for a reason. You've been given a second chance. Let's make the best of it. Let's suck it up, or let's keep pushing through. Or the flip side of that, let's stay humble and remember that it can all be taken away in a heartbeat.
I think it's fascinating. I like to know how people think, what makes them tick. I like to think that emotional intelligence and the ability to understand where people are coming from and what shaped them and how that's their current situation is shaping them in the future can really allow me to relate to individuals and develop relationships that I otherwise wouldn't be able to. So I guess it's just personally exciting to me.
At the end of, I guess it would have been my third season in professional baseball. So I believe I was 19 in my third year. I got asked to come up and work with Tom Candiotti in the last week of the regular season. And that was an incredible experience, being in a big league clubhouse and being in the dugout and working with big leaguers, and I don't know, it was just an incredible experience. It was something that I'll never forget, and seeing guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame or already are in the Hall of Fame and interacting with them, it changes you, not because they're really good baseball players, but because they've had to do a lot of things really, really well in life to make sure that they get to that point. So that was a fantastic experience.
I really use baseball as a model for a lot of different situations in life, and understanding that you have to be able to ride that roller coaster and try to stay relatively stable throughout that entire time. I've always been taught if you're 0 for 40 at the plate, you have to take the same approach and have the same mindset that you would if you're 39 for 40. But also understanding that I have to treat each at bat and each situation as its own special situation, and not looking to the next one or looking to the next game, and really taking it one class at a time, one day at a time, one at bat at a time.
Now, as soon as my right foot lands, I want my left foot to land really quickly after that and not be so reachy.
I had no idea. I hadn't even touched a javelin before I came to school. I had no clue what javelin was, what it really looked like. I just knew that it was a big spear. I knew I always wanted to go to school, and to kind of tie it all in together, it all stems from the surgery and from that tumor, and really seeing how those doctors gave me a second chance at life. I wanted to have that same sort of impact on individuals. I love being challenged. And I love a little positive reinforcement as well, but I definitely love being challenged. I want to see a new task and I want to take it on, especially if it's something that's even remotely interesting to me. I took a computer science course this semester, and I have no idea why I took a computer science course, but it seemed like an interesting challenge to me. I said, hey, I'm going to take this on. I've never done it before. I want to see if I can succeed at this, and that's what drives me, is really being able to take an opportunity, make the best out of it, and try to succeed. And if there's any way possible, bring other people into that situation to allow them to kind of experience some of those same things. We've ensured that student athletes are serving on the Student Advisory Council to the Chancellor. I have student athletes that are involved in my cabinet, and there's student athletes that are working on committees all across the university, not simply because a student athlete is student body president, but I think it's provided a framework for them to realize and broaden their horizons in many ways. It says, I am a student athlete, but I can also use that platform in so many other areas and affect change, whether it be policy or someone's life or what have you, all across the university. And I think a lot of student athletes, it's becoming a more popular thing to do.
And our next student body president will be Houston Summers with 64.8% of the vote.
The perception of student athletes at the University of North Carolina in the local media and the national media really bothered me, and it really made me upset, to the point where I said, I have to do something about this. I really wanted to change that perception. There were other things on campus that I wanted to accomplish and other things that I really wanted to help with, but this whole perception of student athletes don't go to class, student athletes don't work hard, they're coddled at our university, I was really upset by that, because I knew how hard I worked. I see how hard my teammates work every day to make good grades and to stay active on the track or on the playing field. And I really wanted to stand up for them and stand up for myself and say, look, the perception is wrong. This is actually what happens at our university.
Would allow for full-time status, the use of university services, loan deferment, healthcare insurance, and maintenance of visa status for those individuals that are international.
The most frustrating thing about this for me is that I only get 1 year to do it. And honestly, it's not even a full year. Policy, again, is one of those things that has to be crafted and shaped and looked at from every angle, because it has the ability to affect so many people. I'll open up a newspaper and think, oh, wow, I just got blasted right there. Or, wow, that's really cool. I said one little small thing and somebody took it and ran with it, and it's an incredible story. All of those situations combined have played up to make me realize that there is some serious impact here. There are certain core things that I feel like I'm grounded in and that I'm grounded to, and I don't see myself as a baseball player, and I don't see myself as a track athlete, and I don't even necessarily see myself as a student athlete, student body president. I just see me as me. There are core aspects of my life in that, my family, my religion, my friends, those things are central to me and keep me grounded. And that's a struggle every day, because there's so many things that want to pull you in so many different directions. It's really tough to deal with. And I think that's another thing that baseball taught me, and I'm still relearning time and time again, is that my sport is never going to be at the core of who I am. And if that is the case, I'm in some serious trouble, because those things can be taken away in a heartbeat. I think being grounded in more of those solid things, more of those enduring things is really what makes me me. I think at the very core of it, I would just like people to know that I cared, that I was compassionate, that I wanted everybody to leave this place feeling like they're leaving home when they graduate. So that's basically it for me.